This video is brought to you in part by Del Monte Corn.
Met my cousins that
Are we keeping the lateral motion device that was put on there?
I don't even, I mean,
Hey! Shut the f*** up!
I mean, it's gonna be a pain in the ass to take all that off.
It also makes it a pain in the ass to machine it with that on.
Maybe.
To do the, for the other side, try to have to block it up and machine it, elevate it.
I don't know where the hell that came on, because that's too good a welding to be jacked.
It'd either be
Or in Grays Harbor, or even Carlson and Coast. We're filming, goddammit!
Because the thing is, all that's going to do is cause excessive wear.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually act as a true lateral motion device.
No, because a true lateral motion device is to allow more lateral motion or to allow the front axle to swing back and forth more.
Right. Theoretically, this one, if you have loose boxes,
Yeah.
but that's just going to force the boxes out at the top and wear your side bearings weird.
Like we saw.
Yeah. And cause it to run hot and...
Like we saw.
Yep.
That seemed to be a common complaint there right at the very end. I don't care. The 70 doesn't have it, so might as well just whack it off.
Okay. That's why we're starting with number 2.
Boom! There it is.
Time for a quick break.
Yeah, time for a quick break.
It gets warm in there though. Somebody keeps putting, a little bit of heat in there.
Yeah, somebody keeps flashing steel at 13,000 degrees.
It is nice though. I don't need the flashlight when you're in there welding. Just like, guys, I can see. Oh, I can see that. Oh, now I can see. No, I can't. Keep it weld up.
Bright light, bright light, bright light.
Control the arc, please.
It is becoming a new crown brass.
And what exactly does a crown brass used for?
So the crown brass sits inside the box. I'll go grab one. Brass is pressed into the box, and then the axle sit on the crown brass. The crown brass is your bearings for your driving boxes.
So that's your next step.
Yep, is to make all new crown brasses, press them into the boxes, then all we have to do is finish the side bearings and we're ready to put drivers back under it.
Benton wants you to talk me out of going down and buying a Miller 265 Bobcat engine drive welder.
Well, Lincoln Pipeliner is probably a better machine, longer lasting. Miller's got more flexibility though.
Yeah.
A lot more flexibility.
Yeah.
And it's smaller.
Yeah.
But has fuses in it.
You know what? That's the one I.
Yep. Well, it's a whole lot better than what it was doing before. This one, I'm just getting a flat surface, I'm going to flip it. It was, I got it going around in a circle, then I looked at it, it's going this way. So I've got jack screws underneath it now, leveling it.
Yeah, it's about $9,000.
Oof. Warranty, 3 years.
Big.
You have to have a suitcase to do the mid.
Well, you gotta have the suitcase, but you also have to have the tools.
Suitcase. Actually, you can do it with just a spool gun. Or a suitcase. Because the suitcase is just a giant spool gun. You just have to have a feeder mechanism. Yeah. And when we start actually making the new ones,
Start welding on the kind of welding we're going to have to do a big boiler and that boiler and other boilers that are so huge. And by the time we convert a rental machine, we're going to have to
and you weld something, you put it on the truck, drive out wherever. They use gas or diesel.
Yeah, but the diesel one bought?
About 10 grand.
No, $48,000. Really?
Went up.
Yeah. So here you go, get an SA200 for $4,500. Guaranteed to get work on it. There was a guy commenting, there's a couple comments, on why I'm putting welding on the tube sheet. So, this thing, they welded the tubes on each end. And in a steam locomotive, that's kind of frowned upon, though in the MBIC book, it says that you can weld them on both ends. So, when we took these out, because they weren't the same length and they weren't sticking out the tube sheet far enough, they were only sticking out maybe about that far. We had a couple of people that were new to grinding and new to removing tubes that got a little overzealous and took a little off the tube sheet inside where the tubes were at to get the tubes free. And then some of them, the tubes didn't come all the way through the sheet, and so they just kind of floated them up to where they could get a weld all the way around them, and they, for the most part, full pin welded them inside the hole. We had to get in there with the flapper wheel and on a die grinder and grind them out. So there's a bunch of people, one person sent me a message at one point saying, well, the FRA has never taken an engine out of service for having the tubes welded on both ends. And no, the FRA won't, because that is an accepted practice, and it is in the MBIC book. So what you don't want to do that on a steam locomotive. If this was a boiler like on a steamship or a power plant or something like that, where it's coming up and it's staying up and it's going to run for a couple of days or a few long hours or whatever, everything expands and has a chance to expand. This thing and these, you work them for a while, you shut the throttle down, or you're wide open for, especially on our railroad, you're half throttle, full throttle, whatever, for a few hundred feet, and then you shut it back down. So it's heat, cool, heat, cool, heat, cool, heat, cool. Well, the tubes are what the fire contacts first. So if they're welded on each end, the fire catches them, goes through them, and then the tubes transfer the heat into the water. Well, the tubes are going to expand and contract before everything else, before the heat can even get to the barrel and let the barrel expand and contract. So if you have them fixed and welded on each end, when they go to expand, they either buckle the tube up and down, which we saw, or they bow the sheets in and out. Either way, it's not a desirable condition at all. So you leave them kind of free up here on the front, because most of the fire, all the heat is going to be in the back. So you leave them kind of free up here in the front, and then some guys don't even seal weld them back. But if you're going to weld them, you weld one end only. You don't weld both ends. You roll them and beat them, and then common standard practice is that you seal weld them on the fire end so that the heat transfers through the sheet and the tube evenly, and you don't get any movement, leaks or anything like that. And then up here on the front end, because it's the cooler side of things, it allows the tubes to kind of move in and out of their holes ever so slightly, so that they get a little bit of a chance to expand and contract without bowing the sheets in and out or buckling the tube. So other locomotives that we've gone and looked at where it was done with this same practice, you see star cracks start around the tube holes, because you can only take a piece of baling wire and bend it so many times before it starts to break. Same mentality on everything here. You can only move it so much before you start to get stress and stress fractures. So what I'm doing is I'm going around the holes, and the book does say that because it's a stayed surface, because it's tubes, that you can use weld buildup to repair it as long as it's not down below 60% of the original thickness of the sheet. We've looked at the sheets, and the sheets are in really good shape. We've die pinned them several times. We've Magnaflex texted them again. We've Magnaflex texted the whole entire boiler. We spent $20,000 testing this thing to make sure that it was structurally sound. So we haven't found any cracks in the tube sheets. We haven't found any cracks in the ligaments, and we haven't, they're still plenty thick. They're about a ½ inch thick. So what I'm doing is I'm just going around where the grinders were at, right around the tube holes, and just adding material there so that Eric over there can come through the flapper reel and real gently bring it back down to where when we put the tubes in there, after we ream the hole back out, we put the tubes in there, it has a good flat surface to beat it to and seal it. So that's what we're doing. Some guys would say that that's too much work, just cut the sheet out and put a new one in, but it doesn't need it. We're into it. If I could work on it a solid 8-hour day instead of having to go do manager crap, it'd only be probably a week a sheet and we'd be done. But it's taking a little bit longer because for whatever reason I got voted to be the one to weld on it. So almost too cold.
Say hi, Eric. Hi. As I'm busting out rivets, I mean, you can see why. I mean, all of these heads are just completely wasted, so we're committed to replacing all of them. Not all of them on the seam are bad, but about 40 of them need to go. So here's the process. So start by grinding down the head down to right here, and this is right where the head meets the sheet, and you go until you see a perfect circle right where the actual rivet body is, and then you get up there with the gun and you hammer it down. So I'm gonna do that now.
Anything for the shot. Anything for the shot.
What?
Oh, I thought you were gonna go back there and give him some.
Oh, all right, go.
The snack that keeps everybody going.
You know, I got the pipe, so I wouldn't smoke as many freaking cigars.
Yeah. How's that going?
That bag was full 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Trying to